Hey guys, I know it's been a while since you had a video from me, but it is time. I'm gonna kind of make this a two-part video. One where I just explain a slide on your notes really quick. It's very important. It's going to be on our test, and the answer cannot be found in the actual PowerPoint. So I need to verbally say it to you. If you want to write that down so you have it when we take our test, that's a great idea. And then as soon as I'm done with this, because that's going to take me like 2 minutes to go through, and I'm going to give you the instructions for today's assignment. Okay. I hope everyone out there is doing well. I hope we're all healthy and that we're getting some rest on these off days. I know that this whole e-learning thing has been very stressful. For everyone, it's been quite an adjustment, but most of you guys are doing an awesome job, and just keep it up. We got about a month of this left, and then we are home free to enjoy our summers. So keep up the good work and just push through. Okay, so part one of this, we're just talking about the physical geography of South Asia. And you guys know that usually I don't have too much to say on these because it's all pretty self-explanatory. But there is one part that I want to go over because, like I said, it's going to be a test question. They're going to ask you why South Asia is considered to be a subcontinent. Okay. And it isn't a very complicated answer, but it is not on the PowerPoint, and it is something that I do want to talk about really quickly. So, why is South Asia a subcontinent? Of course, South Asia is part of the larger continent of Asia, but it is distinctly different from the rest of Asia. And this is in two ways. Number one, just physically, its location and the boundaries between it and the rest of Asia makes it a subcontinent. And second, because of race and culture and ethnicity. Okay, so the Indian subcontinent or the South Asian subcontinent is made up of these seven countries: Pakistan, India, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and the Maldives, right? Those seven countries make up South Asia. Obviously, there are more parts of Asia. We have the Middle East that we talked about before, which would be over here. And then in Unit 8, we're going to be talking about East Asia, which is like China and Japan and North and South Korea and all that. So this is just a small piece of Asia, but it's different, and we separate it for the reason that it's the subcontinent. So what makes it a subcontinent? I said one of those ways is the physical boundaries. Okay, so we have physical boundaries that separate South Asia from the rest of Asia, and these are mostly made through mountain chains. So one of the most important mountain chains that you guys probably already know is the Himalaya Mountains, and you probably know that mountain chain because it is home to Mount Everest, the tallest mountain in the world. So right above India, right here would be India, see this gray section, and then right above it you have this country called Nepal, and Nepal is most of the land area there is made up of the Himalaya Mountains, and this is a gigantic mountain chain. It's really, 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 really tall, several mountains, or mountain peaks that are 26, 27, 28, 29,000 feet. So this is not a mountain chain that you can just kind of drive through or um, navigate very easily. So it really separates a really strong boundary between China and Nepal, or China and the rest of South Asia. Okay, there are also two other mountain chains called the Karakoram and Hindu Kush. Those also help complete this belt or this border between South Asia and the rest of Asia, like China and stuff. So when these three mountain chains kind of hook up together, then you get this total border that separates South Asia from the rest of Asia. And one of the only places that you can easily navigate between the rest of Asia and South Asia is this Khyber Pass, which is this opening right here located on the border of Afghanistan and Pakistan. And the reason that this was created, all these mountain chains were created, was because, if you guys remember back to plate tectonics in Pangea, the South Asian subcontinent actually used to be a part of Africa. And as those plates started to shift, the South Asian subcontinent broke off from Africa and then kind of swung up and ran into or hit or collided with Asia. And when they collided, obviously, it took millions and millions of years. It didn't happen overnight, but as they collided and they pushed on one another, that land had nowhere to go except for up, right? And we know that this is the case because even today, Mount Everest is growing. And every year, Mount Everest grows just a little bit, I think by an inch or two. So by the time you guys are my age, Mount Everest will be a foot taller than it is today. Okay, so that's really the one thing that I wanted to go through. So why is India a subcontinent? It's a subcontinent because it is distinctly different, mostly because of physical boundaries. And then the other part that we'll get into later is just racially and ethnically. In South Asia, the religions are very different from the rest of Asia, and uh, the ethnicities of people, the languages spoken there are quite a bit different as well. Okay, so that's that part.